I'm Tiana.
And I'm Trav.
And this is I Now Pronounce You,
where we reflect on our experiences and give our opinions.
It can be hard to take the time to process it all.
So we're making the time now.
We welcome you to
I Now Pronounce You. Hey, hey,
Hey.
hey, hey,
Hey.
Hi. Hi. Okay. Whoa. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I do that every episode, but this is the first time you actually got to see it
You
live,
do that
man.
every time?
I do. Every single time.
Gosh. Welcome to another episode of I Now Pronounce You.
Welcome.
That was so much fun. I actually get to see you.
I know.
Yes.
You and me must never
I
part.
was thinking the same thing. Maquidada.
I messed it up. My bad.
So, if you've never listened to an episode of I Now Pronounce You, Trav and I are usually in a Love is Blind situation where I am not able to see him while we record.
No, usually I have T in the booth and I'm narrating outside like this.
Yeah.
But now I get to bring everything all in one space, so it's kind of dope.
We are
ain't it, babe?
trying it out. This is an experiment.
Yeah, this is the test run. This is the trial.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
So, how's your week been, Trav?
Busy, but I like busy. I like
busy.
staying busy. I like to have things moving, but I've been tired though.
Yeah, we had a pretty busy weekend. My dad comes over most of the time on his weekend off, and he watches movies with us, but he always wants to watch like a slave movie.
This is
Or just oppression in general.
we told him we picking a movie next time.
Yes, I did.
Crazy.
And the next time he comes over, it falls on Halloween. And so I reminded him of that yesterday. I'm like, hey, Dad, you're coming over when it's Halloween. And he's like, I'm not watching a scary movie or a horror. I'm not doing that.
The horror movies, the oppression movies you show us.
And I'm like, all right, we don't have to watch that. However, we're just not watching anything about slavery or civil rights.
Man, every time we watch something like that, it makes me mad. It makes my blood boil, man.
Yeah.
But
we recently watched Antebellum.
Yeah, that was dope.
I don't know if I mentioned it before, because we did watch it within the last couple weeks. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast, but I feel like the message was great. The concept of the movie was great.
Facts.
I love Janelle Monáe. She's dope. I just did not feel like it was executed properly, and I don't know what it was missing to give it that oomph.
It lost me maybe about 3/4 of the way in the movie. So like I was waiting for the finale to be something extravagant. I mean, and it was a plot twist, but you peeped it early. So
I did. Within the first 20 minutes, I was like, I already know what's gonna happen. Nope, I peeped this. This is not going right. They wouldn't say that during that. Like
right.
I was able to pick up on those nuances. I was.
Facts.
But I'm not like an extreme reader where I know I've had some coworkers who, like this one woman, she reads like 10 books a month.
Right.
So I'm not like that. I read like one book a month, one every 2 months when I try to fit it in. But if you read different genres and different types of books, you kind of pick up on things. I don't know, you just kind of pick up on things. And then as a kid, I was kind of like a movie buff. I loved movies. And when I would watch them all the time, I would fall asleep to them. Like I would watch a single movie repeatedly, like 15, 30 times.
Yeah, you was famous for that.
So I could, and this is like when I was, I don't know, 12, 13, 14. So you just pick up on a lot of those different things. But anyway, my week's been going good. How about your work week? Like, you've been busy with that?
Yeah, work's been stressful, but that's good. Like I said, busy is good. That means I'm making money, So, I mean, if it's going crazy and I barely got a chance to sit down.
I wouldn't want to sell nothing.
Yeah, it sucks.
I was a horrible salesperson. Like, I know you don't do retail, but I'm thinking about retail. I was a horrible salesperson.
You just don't feel like you're a good person if you have to sell somebody something, right?
Yes, I remember. And then I worked at Motherhood Maternity, which is obviously for pregnant women.
Yeah.
And they would come in and our clothes were kind of expensive unless you got something that was on sale.
Yeah, facts.
And people would... Okay, so it was around Christmas time, and this guy came in. My manager managed to sell almost $1,000
to that one dude
in maternity clothes to that one guy. She was like, "Oh, your wife's going to want to be comfortable and wear these things at work, and she's going to want to feel her best. And guess what? After you have the baby, you don't lose that weight, so you can still wear these clothes after while you're working on your..."
a whole year.
This woman came into the job and was like, "I need a refund." And we're like,
Terrible.
"I'm sorry. We don't do refunds, only store credits." She was crying. "He spent $1,000 on clothes." It was...
That's what I said. It's an ill game, that sales game. You never feel good about it. So I try to just like I give people options and I let them make a choice. I've never been that pushy type of, nah, man. I understand the commission's there, but I'll work twice as hard to do right by folks.
Oh, we didn't have commission. It was just expectation.
That sucks.
It was just an expectation. All right. Well,
Okay.
I was telling Trav before we started recording that I was in group teaching earlier today, and I learned this dope fact about platypuses, guys.
Oh, man.
Look, reading children's books all day with kids, you learn the most random facts ever. Okay? So, a platypus
Is, yeah.
it's not a mammal. It's not a marsupial. It is a monotreme, right? There's only two types of two animals that fall under the monotreme. Don't give me that face.
I didn't give you a face. I'm just listening, man. What you talking about?
I'm not going to go into detail about everything, but did you know that platypuses don't have nipples and they sweat their milk and their babies lick it off their fur in order to eat? How dope is that?
It's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting.
All right. We're going to move on since Travis like, "Okay, T."
Lick my body and eat. What?
All right. So
That's
my
cold,
focus kind of today is about friendships, right? So
Facts.
Are you still close with your childhood friends?
Yeah, I would say that I keep in touch, for sure. I keep in touch.
No, I mean like close.
Nah, I don't. I'm
Like
not gonna
they
call
know pretty much all the major events that are happening in your life. You know the major events that are happening in their lives.
When you
Y'all
put
link
it that
up.
way, yeah. I mean, yeah. It could be stronger, of course, but that's because we're both busy people. All of us are busy people. You know, we're always moving around and shaking, but it's always love. You know what I mean? But closeness, I wouldn't say it's like when we were kids. Not at all, because kids don't have as many obligations as adults. So,
Yeah, so you have just a lot of ample time just to like
Facts.
hang out and be with each other.
Yeah.
My one like childhood best friend, we are still friends to this day. It's been over 25 years.
Yeah,
and
cool.
I feel like if I had a large group of people to keep up with, I don't think I would be able to maintain that. But with her, yes, I would say that I'm still close.
Yeah, I mean it's the same with me. I have a couple of childhood friends, maybe about 2 or 3 that I keep in contact with. But it's not as frequent as, and the conversation is still pretty, pretty deep, but it's just not as often.
Well, that's because relationships and friendships, I feel like they evolve as you get older.
Facts, yeah. It changes with time.
Yeah, like when you start adding in kids, when you start factoring in, like you were saying before, responsibilities, like things just, they change. But I've seen people's responses be different. Some people want to be down your throat. Like, they don't care what's going on. Like, what you doing this weekend? What you doing tonight?
They're overbearing. I can't deal with overbearing friends. It's sometimes it's a bit much. So, I mean, I need a break sometimes. Like, I mean, and especially me, I need my personal space the majority of the time. You know what I'm saying? Except from you, I like your space. You know what I'm saying?
What up,
I'm trying
Scott?
to always get in your space.
Focus.
But anyway, same thing with friends. It's like I've had a few overbearing friends, and over the years, they just have to respect my boundaries and respect my balance, you know.
So when I think about evolving, like my childhood best friend and I, when we lived down the street from each other, we saw each other obviously every single day.
Facts.
Pretty much like every other weekend. And then when I moved away from where I grew up, then, you know, there was a strain because we weren't seeing each other daily at school. We weren't seeing each other on the bus, and we weren't going over each other's homes and things like that. So it did transition, but we still maintain contact, even if it was like every 4 weeks or something like that.
Right.
And then once we became adults and we started having kids and responsibilities and things like that, we would always connect around our birthdays because we would give each other gifts. We would always see each other around the holidays to at least exchange gifts. So it may not have been hanging out on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, but we kept in touch.
That's true.
And I think that's the important thing. Like, I recently posted a reel on my IG, and it was this group of women, and they were explaining how they have maintained a 20-year friendship. And so some of their pointers were never attack each other. And that's something I can say that my childhood best friend and I, we've never attacked each other. I don't even think we've been in an actual fight, like an argument.
I can see that.
We haven't done that.
Dudes fight. Dudes fight.
Why
Fist
do you
fight
think that
sometimes.
is?
Testosterone raging. Testosterone raging. Pride. If you think it's sweet, you got to get some things off your chest. And
there's some women like that, but we aren't those type of girls. Her and I.
Right. Y'all both sweet girls.
Yeah, like we're not that. Not to say that
That
you are
is
not sweet. If
Right.
you if you're like that.
Cold, right, because you could be cold-blooded and still have
that's
sweet
okay.
moments. Whatever works for you.
I told you I'm gonna get that printed on a t-shirt, and that's okay.
We're gonna get that on a shirt. We're gonna get that on a shirt.
Okay, so one of the other pointers were they link up at least once a year. Do you think you and your
quite a few
old
times.
friends?
Like I'm since we're not name dropping, quite a few times. Like maybe like 3 or 4 times a year actually.
Oh, see, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see each other multiple times a year. Other friends that I have, other good friends that I have, we do the same. Like, we try to see each other at least once a year. I don't know if it's a necessary effort to, like, oh my God, it's been 6 months, we must see each other. It is like that with one of my friends, but with others, I don't feel like it's not scheduled in a sense.
Right.
But sometimes maybe it should be. Like, I had a coworker, and she talked about how she still hangs with her college friends, and she's in her 50s. So she said they do a trip, but it's every other year, and they take
just
turns.
A whole group of friends.
They take turns hosting, and they don't go out of town. Sometimes they might go out of town, but for the most part, you host at wherever you live because they live in different cities. So you host at your house for 2 or 3 days, and then we skip a year, and then the next year we host at someone else's house, and they
That's
just
cool. like
hang out.
like that Tyler Perry movie, but they went to the cabin with Janet Jackson.
What was that movie? Why Did I Get Married?
I think so, yeah. And they try to hate on Jill Scott, but Jill Scott was fired the whole time.
I feel like that's one of the Tyler Perry films that men will watch.
Yeah.
Is Why Did I Get Married?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I think so too, and I feel like it dropped some gems in there for dudes as well.
Yeah.
So the other tip was keep it light and keep it childish. Reminisce about your childhood and keep things positive. Not to say that if you're going through something, you shouldn't share that with your friends, but don't try to put too much pressure on the relationships when you aren't seeing each other but so often.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, do you think you are a good friend, Trev? Like, are you a good friend?
I'm a terrible friend. I'm a terrible friend. But because I'm a terrible friend and my friends understand that I'm a terrible friend, I guess I'm a good friend.
What the heck is that even supposed to mean?
I'm the introvert friend. You know what I mean? Like, I was never going to be the one that they could just pick up the phone and hit, and no matter what, I was always going to pick up the phone. That's never been me. So some people would consider that a good friend, but some people would be like, that's just how he is. You know what I mean? But then if somebody really needs something and they give me a couple of days to prepare myself, or they need help with something, I will literally work on a project for them like it's mine.
So
So it's traits.
even though you're evaluating yourself as a friend, do you think a good friend is someone who knows who they're dealing with and acts accordingly?
Yeah, I think you posted something like that the other day. It was like a person that you can see through, but and they still stick around.
Yeah.
Is a good friend.
That was an actual definition of friend that
Yeah.
was on our IG. I don't remember the exact wording
Something
of
about
it.
see through you, and they would still stick around.
And
So.
the best part, oh, you're talking about the tweet that I actually posted.
Yeah, it was like a retweet or something, right?
Yes, it was a retweet from Kim Coles from years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone who can see through you and still chooses to stick around, because you have to just know who you're dealing with. I've had
Facts.
people in the past who are like, I don't understand how you could be friends with so and so, and they do this or they do that, and you have to meet them where they are. And if you feel that that's not something that you can do, then you have every right to create that boundary and not be there.
That's facts.
But if you are choosing to deal with someone, it should be out of love and it should be out of understanding. People aren't going to be the exact way that you are, or they're not going to be the way that you want them to be. But if you see the good qualities in them,
I agree.
then you have to make some adjustments in how you approach them.
I agree. Hey, man, I know all my friends over the span of all my friendships. I know exactly what they are, and I call their mannerisms by their name. Like, that's the so-and-so, or that's the so-and-so.
You do that.
And they do that back to me, like, oh, that's the Trav.
Oh, you say it in conversation with them?
Yeah.
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm a completely honest person.
Yeah.
But I think that's why my friends like to be around me, is that I try to be honest. And I also am I can see the good in people, so I can find people's best traits. I don't know. It's always been like that since I was young. So I can identify them, and people like to have them around me, have me around.
That too, boo.
It's like, man, but you know what? Because they'll sit there and talk like, but don't you do this? Like, you really dope at that. Like, you should keep doing that. And
you hype people up for sure. Trav is that friend.
I'm the hype man
that will hype you up and be like, don't you know you so dope at that? Don't you know? You know what I'm saying? Just earlier, we were upstairs, and I'm your friend. So, and Travis like,
and my wife.
T, you so smart. And I'm like, oh, thanks, babe. Like, he throws out those compliments. He'll randomly look at Mara and be like, Mara, your skin is so beautiful. I'm like, all right, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the sucker that's gonna marry her, because he gonna have to be open doors and pay for dinner and have compliments,
I think that it is good for people to hear those things, though, because oftentimes we wait until someone gets sick or someone passes and they're like, oh, they meant so much to me.
Give the flowers while they're here.
Give the flowers while they are still here.
I had a recent scare this week about that, and it made me think, like, am I so inundated with my own things? Do I really give people the time that they need? So
I did as well.
To get better at that.
And I think it's, tell the people around you that you love them. Like,
Facts.
There's nothing wrong with sharing that with them. Like, hey, I really love you. I think you are. Be like Trev.
Be more like Trev.
Be more like Trev.
I'm in the community.
You're really dope at this.
You're dope at what you do. And I'm in the community.
I enjoy spending time with you.
You should do that more.
It's fun when we do this.
Stay on top of your A game.
We have to stop referencing Tony Baker.
Tony Baker is the dopest comedian, like, right now.
Anyway,
yeah.
I really think that those things are important. Now, when I think about, am I a good friend? I feel like you, where I'm going to say no, but but yes. Like,
we're good friends to people that understand where we're coming from,
and it depends on what kind of friend you are. So I'm not going to be the friend that's like, you should come over and watch a movie. But if you ask me, I'll do it.
Facts.
But I just don't, for whatever reason, I don't think first.
That's because she want to have, have movie night with me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
whatever.
We be watching movies, yeah.
When we can. Or I'm with the kids watching or trying to give them my undivided attention. Or let the little
TV watch me.
I hate you so bad right now.
Come on,
I
man.
hate you so bad. I need to go back in the booth. Can I just go back in the booth?
Oh no, you stuck now. You
If
out here with
if
me?
you have listened to some of the clips that I post on Instagram, like there was one a few weeks ago where Trav is laughing and cutting up jokes, and I am silent,
Yeah,
silent on the other side of that
you were
wall.
blown. You was really mad.
But now I have to see you, so I guess it's infectious, and I'm gonna have to laugh right along with you. I guess
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
I
But
guess so. You just had a comment about a platypus. I can't let the little
that's just a
TV watch
random.
me.
That's random trivia.
Random jokes are in there too. Then
Okay, fine. But when I'm thinking about am I a good friend, I think that it just depends on who you're asking. Also, as well, like I don't know. You're good about calling people. I'm not good about calling people.
yeah, I will randomly call somebody that I haven't heard from in a while and say, "Hey, man, just wanted to check on you, make sure you good, your family's good."
I'm not that friend.
Yeah, I have to pick up the phone because I feel like I'd rather have friends in a million places than to just be me.
It feels like Sims Family though.
Yeah,
Like
like if you don't give this person enough
have
attention.
you ever like played Sims Family? I used
I
to
did.
play on the old desktop. You know what I'm saying? When you had to go to Walmart and get the CD-ROMs and download the game and all that jazz.
I remember.
And I used to play it, and I would play for hours, and I would get so inundated with the fact that you had to work and you had to have enough energy to get up in the morning, and you had to have enough energy
That's
to
real
do all
life.
of these things, and you had to keep your relationship strong. And so you couldn't ask someone to marry you if you haven't spent a certain amount of time with them, and the bar hasn't been up saying that y'all have had positive interactions. And if you're not getting enough sleep, then you may have arguments with these people. Like it was so draining.
Yeah, that sounds like my life.
And yeah, that does sound like real life. But if you are friends with somebody and you know or you feel like you aren't maybe the best friend, like you don't show up in the way that maybe you feel like you should, then I feel like you shouldn't ask for
Yeah,
anything.
I mean, I try to.
So that's also me. I don't ask for anything.
I don't. I try not to ask for anything too, but over the years, my friends will just, excuse me, kind of just give
Oh,
and.
people ask me for things,
Oh,
but I don't feel like I can ask.
I guess that's what I meant. Yeah, I don't feel like. I mean, yeah, if it's like a gesture, but I don't feel like I can just pick up the phone and call certain people. Like, and people always thought that was strange. They just like you just put this enormous amount of stress on yourself because I feel like when too many hands are in the pot with anything that's being done, things get complex. And I don't do well with complexity. It makes me stressed out. It just, I grab my hair. Like, I don't like, I was always like the person that didn't like to work in groups as a kid.
Oh,
Like,
I
I
hated
hated that.
working
I
in
hated
groups.
that. I'm like, yo,
Let me pass or fail on my own merit.
I was a cocky little sucker. I said, I'm smart enough to do this by myself. What do I need to be in a group for?
I hated group work.
I don't like to be. I don't want to spend 30 minutes to an hour of everyone giving their opinion for them to just say, "Well, Travis, I think your idea is the best. You should write it down."
Oh, see, that wasn't me. I just really wasn't saying much because I was too afraid to voice my opinion. So let me just sit in solitude and figure it out, or wait till I get home and figure it
I
out.
hate I hate group plays, which is crazy because maybe that's why I didn't excel in team sports. Same ideology, right? Halfway.
There's also physical ability.
Joe, she just fillet.
I mean, I didn't know you back
Oh
then.
my god.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I was shorter than everybody else, and I didn't.
Do you think people should ask their friends, are they a good friend? Like, is this something that I should be asking my friends? Like, hey,
Or
do you think
what can
I'm a
I do
good
to be a
friend?
better friend? Or yeah,
Oh, no, I don't want to ask that.
yeah. Well, you can come and mow my lawn twice a week. Nah. I mean,
Nah, I'm
I
not.
don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, halfway. I mean, I feel like it's a question that should be brought up. Like, hey, do you think I'm a decent friend? You know what I'm saying? Like, but clearly, if they've been rolling with you all these years, especially those friends that have been rolling with you over a decade, you got to be homie. You know?
In my heart of hearts, I would think that Courtney and Fiera would say that I'm a good friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Why you pause like that?
Because I agree. I was just thinking about like any other friends that you have, like would they say the same thing? And I think so because also,
I would think Shanice thinks
that, and
thing.
that's who I was thinking about. That's exactly who I was thinking about.
Because once again, you got to know your place in your role. Like with that friendship, we meet up every 3 to 4 months. We, you know what I'm saying, have a meal, we laugh, we joke, and we get everything pretty much out in the open.
Facts.
We will send some text messages in between every now and again, but usually it's in preparation to meet up at some point. Mm-hmm. And I feel like every friendship is going to look different.
Right.
And I think that you have to think about it in that way. Like, do you have that person you check in with every day? I don't have anybody that I check in with every day. I could, but you know what I'm saying? I don't check in with anybody every day. Life gets busy,
babe. Life get in the way, you know?
Or I don't know, babe.
Life get in the way.
No, it's not even that. Like, there are legit people that hang out with lots of couples and they, invite them over on the weekends and they do little dinners and trips and things like that. I
don't want to do that.
You're lying.
I want to do that like occasionally, but
I know, but I'm saying everybody's, because then you also have friends that are relatives.
I'm Mr. Rager.
I feel like he is my friend, but she's my
also
cousin.
Your cousin. Yeah. I mean, and Big Mike's my uncle, but that's my homie. You know what I'm saying?
So I feel like it's different. It just depends on how things are going. But we do have an I Reddit on Reddit. I have to pull it up, and I want some good energy for my theme music today. I don't want you half-assing it. I want to feel it.
Oh,
I want all of that.
Oh, I'm back.
Lord, y'all actually can see it if we post this. So I don't know how I feel about it. All right, you ready?
Do my theme music?
Yes.
Doom, doom,
8.
doom, doom.
Break it down.
Doom, 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 doom. Do, 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 do.
Today's I read it on Reddit. All right. So it is. Oh, you had me put my phone on airplane mode, so I could not see it.
As long as we don't get no buzzing in the mic, we good.
Oh,
we got a little static.
Hold on, I'm about to turn it off.
Yeah, you had to screenshot it.
I'm sorry. Sorry, people. All right, it says, help me. What do I do when my best friend is extremely immature in the way she handles all of her emotional situations?
Help me.
It takes a toll on our relationship because of the excessive drama, but I don't want to stop being her friend when I know this is something she struggles with and something maybe neither of us can control.
Help me.
Though I believe she can control it, she just chooses not to because she likes playing the victim. What do I do, peeps? Well, help me.
Peeps.
What should you do? Trav, your thoughts?
Why you always put me on the spot first? All
right, I'll
so
go.
You can get time to digest your thoughts.
Nah, I'll go.
Go ahead.
All right, if you have someone in your life, especially your best friend, and you feel like they are immature, it doesn't say how old they are, but if you feel that they are immature, I feel like you should be listening to what they're saying and help ease them through the situation. So let's say they are complaining about a situation at work, right?
Right.
Listen to what they have to say and then come at a different angle. Like, hey, okay, so this situation happened. You ever thought about it like this? And see if you consistently bringing up the situation from a different lens. See if that helps them kind of process what happened and how they are responding it. Because this person says that they're always playing the victim. So if they feel like they're playing the victim, how can you get your best friend to see the other side of something, the other side of the situation? Because at the end of the day, you're not there. You don't really know if they're playing the victim. But if you notice a pattern, you can almost foresee that being the issue.
You have a good idea of, pretty much who your friend is as a person.
Yeah.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
And you can usually call them on their bluff. You know what I mean? So if they're playing the victim, then, being a good friend is actually telling them that they're playing the victim.
So someone in the comments...
being honest.
Someone in the comments said that they sounded toxic. And it said, have you tried talking to her about it? And so that person then responded and they said that they did try, but they can't even get her to apologize for things that they've said
To them.
to them.
Oh.
So it's like, how can I change their mindset about situations if they won't even apologize to me?
You know what's funny about that narrative? Toxic.
What?
I think that word is toxic in itself. I
Why?
think that because everyone is different and everyone moves differently, right? So something that may be a toxic trait that just may not be your pack of wolves. So you may need to extract yourself
Find your
from that.
tribe.
Exactly. Like traits that we have may be considered toxic. Well, I know the MIA move that I do sometimes just because I just have a high stress level of things that I'm involved in. Me just taking our phones, plugging them up in the room, closing that door, and then coming and spending time and being in the now. Some people would consider that toxic, and I don't believe it is.
I don't think that's toxic if I know someone's looking for me.
I don't care if somebody's looking for me or not. If I
No,
need
if
to
I
take a moment,
know, like, okay, if someone's like, hey, we're gonna hang out at 12 p.m. on Saturday, and I'm like, okay, and then that time came and I just didn't answer my phone, that's toxic. But if people are just randomly calling and checking up on me or trying to link up with me and it's the weekend time and I'm not on my phone or I'm not keeping it by me, then that's not toxic. So I do think it's situational. But what should they do in this situation?
She needs to have an honest conversation with her and let her know, I think you've been playing the victim. And if you can try to, like I said, weed through the rebuttals and weed through, just the responses, then try to get there. But if she has a history of doing that, she probably ain't even going to let you get to that point. She has to see the error in her own ways first. That's facts.
Okay, so how long of a time do you feel should go by before you should let a friendship or relationship go?
And you'll know when it's time. If it gets that overwhelming and it starts to affect your personal life and your movements, then you got to chop them off with a hacksaw.
I agree with that. I looked at this site called Healthline.com, and it says that you should respond to toxic people by doing a multitude of different things. They named like 17 tips, but some of the ones that I jotted down was avoid playing into their reality. I've definitely done that. So if you are sitting there and you're telling me a story and I'm used to you, like I know how situations typically roll when you are involved, I'll listen to what you have to say. I know that you may be embellishing and throwing in your own little things here and there.
Right.
So I'll listen and I'll say, oh, okay. And I'll kind of leave it at that.
Right.
I really won't feed into it. And most of the time, I feel like, and this is not necessarily with friends of mine, but just in general, like sometimes with students who I know who do things like that, or people that I maybe don't know personally, but I've been around enough times that I can gauge it. Right. I'll listen, but I won't feed in to their reality of the situation. And
just feed into reality.
We've talked about it before. Even early on in our relationship, there would be certain things that I wouldn't feed in with you because sometimes people just like to. You need somebody else to kind of repel that energy back and forth with. Yeah. And I feel like if the other person isn't giving you that, you're gonna either stop or you're gonna reevaluate what you're saying.
Those are facts.
And so, hopefully that would help with that person. Make them either stop or reevaluate what they're saying to you.
Facts.
Also, one of the tips from Healthline was talk to them about their behavior, which Trav mentioned, and then offer compassion, but don't try to fix them. You want to set boundaries. And I think that's really important, and it's been a hot topic lately.
Boundaries is an awesome word.
It's setting, but what does that look like? What does setting boundaries even look like?
Stating what's going to go down and what isn't.
Or it can be done non-verbally, right?
Yeah, a line in the sand no, I can't even say that because some people can't pick up on nonverbal cues. I think you have to be as blunt as possible. And, I always say if everyone is, I saw this quote too. I don't know where I saw it, but it was like, if everyone is happy, then something's not going right. Because someone is not going to be happy with the decision that you made. They may accept it, but they're not going to be happy about it. Yeah. Yeah. You have to be. You
can't aim to pleasing everybody.
You can't. You got to aim to please yourself first. Yeah. Your family first and yourself second,
Yeah.
So, I always tell people, I made a post about it, I don't know, weeks ago. Yo, my family comes first in every situation. I don't care if you got $1 million check waiting for me. Hold it or keep it because, something happened with my kid. I got to go.
I listened to Kev on stage talk about that as well. He was saying how he does clean comedy, but not clean to the point where he's not talking about sex and things like that.
Yeah.
Clean comedy in the sense that he just doesn't curse because he didn't grow up cursing. He didn't feel comfortable with it. So he said he would always try to play into what he used to be a youth pastor. So he always tried to play into what Christians would like. And then he would get a gamble. Some Christians that liked it, some that didn't. Other people, like he was trying to feed into different groups of people.
Yeah, can't please
And
everybody.
he realized, like, just be me, do me, and the audience will come to me, or people will like me for who I am, or they don't.
I like Kev on stage though, baby.
Yeah, I do too. But I thought that was a really good piece of advice or a good example is that, and he does that for a living. Like that's his job. And so when your job is aligned with how people perceive you, like that can hit you kind of hard. But in that regard, we have to build kind of a tough skin.
Facts.
All right. I also saw this other dope thing because I feel like a lot of people might say like, oh, I don't have any friends. Like, so the average person has around 8 to 9 friends.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess if I think about it, I do have. I could probably.
It said
Goes from close to the closeness. I guess I don't know.
Yes. Well, there's different variations of it, like casual friends, or like if you. One of them said this one study was from 2004. It said the average person, if they were going to have a wedding, they would be able to invite 150 people.
The average person.
The average person.
Well, that's my side. That's my whole mother side of the family.
So if I stopped and thought about it, we would have 150 people to invite. Now, are those people like
the closest people? Yeah.
No.
Nah.
And then another study said that people have 2 to 3 best friends. So not just the 8 to 9 friends, but you have 2 to 3 like close friends that you keep engaged with.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that was pretty accurate.
Yeah.
2 to 3 people that like kind of check in, that you see on a regular basis, that you can confide in, and your spouse actually can count as one of those people.
Oh yeah. Then I got 3.
I know you.
Oh wow.
I know you.
Oh wow.
You say I got 3.
Shit, it might be 2.
But you be calling people.
That don't mean I'm gonna tell niggas. Like, nah, nigga, I stubbed my toe the other day, bro. It was crazy. Like
that's different too. I'm more of a listener. So if I'm your friend,
I'm the same way.
For the most part, I'm listening and I'm nodding my head and I'm giving my opinion, but I don't have too much input. Like,
yeah, I'm not gonna, because like I said, it's just weird because somebody could tell you one thing one day, and if you keep that same energy on 3 days later,
oh yeah,
they could be like, "Well, I never said that." I'm like, you clearly did. Like,
or I changed my mind, or they might duck you because they have now changed their mind. They've gone a different path than they originally said.
That's like Cardi and Offset got back together.
Oh, I saw all of that drama around that.
And like
people in the
Rico
comments.
Nasty went off. Like, it's like, well, this is who I'm with. This is who I like. I missed him, so I'm back with him. But it is what it is. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, you live your life. It is what it is. But she had turned up, and Cardi reposted Rico. I just said it because Rico DC.
Well, I feel like people, I don't really follow that whole thing, but I have seen it as I've been scrolling. And I think the problem that people had was, now you are going back to something that you have said more than once that you need to drop. And Cardi's defense is, I'm just like y'all. I'm dysfunctional, just like y'all. But the only difference is that you publicly see me going through this.
Right, yeah. I always talk about it. The celebrities are under, like, the public's eye. So they get to see their flaws, like, first. Yeah. And, I think it's fair? No. But did they agree to that? Of course they did. People like to see the celebrities go through things or what they eat for breakfast and all that. And it's very strange. It's almost like putting them in like a bin, like like an experiment.
Yeah.
And you just get to watch their mannerisms and then they replicate it and then, whatever.
Before we get up on out of here and do our takeaways, I just want to say that I love your headphones.
Why you joning, man? Hey, I'm gonna keep it a bean. My headphones have duct tape on them because these were the first pair of official engineer headphones that I've ever purchased.
I have the new ones.
And Honey has the new, nice, expensive Sonys. I have like the old Audio Technicas, but I love the way they sound, and I always kept them, and I never got rid of them. And look at us, I'm using them now.
Yeah, and we are not about like that life of like
Spending.
a facade or.
No, we're gonna keep it a buck. I got duct tape on my
I'm
headphones.
in my comfy sweater.
Yeah.
My hair poofed out.
I got my comfortable hoodie on. I always wear this hoodie very, often.
You should have at least like lined up. You should have lined up the strings, boo.
Why are we gonna do that?
All right, what's your takeaway for today, Trev?
My takeaway is that maybe I need to ask my friends if I'm a good friend. And then, regardless of what their response is, I mean it like that.
I know you did.
As a good friend.
Go ahead.
As an honest friend.
Go ahead.
Nah, but just take what they say and just like see if it's balanced. See if I expect them more out of them. Even though I know it, that probably ain't the case. But see if there's anything. They may point out a trait in yourself that you could probably improve, like in just life situations in general. Mm-hmm. And man, this chair's squeaking.
Oh, it's all right.
Yeah, but what's your takeaway, sweetheart?
My takeaway is that it just really makes me evaluate and cherish the friendships that I do have, because I feel that even if they are changing and evolving over time, I don't want to lose them. Mm-hmm. These are people that 20, 30 years from now, I can look back and have all these memories with. That know me to my core and have seen me at different stages of my life and can vouch for me as a person. So I just feel like throughout this conversation, I just realized how important that is. And then on the other side of things, if you are dealing with someone who is toxic, or as Trav like to say, has toxic moments,
hacks on them off,
then just make sure that you are setting boundaries. And as long as it's not affecting you in your personal world, just try to act and deal with that person accordingly.
Yeah,
well,
those are facts.
You can follow us where, Trav?
On I Now Pronounce You pod at Instagram. On Instagram.
Oh, see, Trav listened to me say it all the time that I wanted to test him.
I did it right the last time.
You did a great last episode. All right, so you can follow us at I Now Pronounce You pod on Instagram. You can email us at inowpronounceyoupod@gmail.com. Please rate and review on Apple Podcast. What else do we need people to do, babe?
They need to also check us out on Audible. That is also a new platform that we have, which is also Amazon Music. And, share with your friends. We're also going to be putting visuals up for the first time. So give us your feedback. We probably won't do it next episode, but every few often, we'll be putting up some visuals to match the episode. So let us know what you think. If you guys, want to see this more often, let us know.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys. Stay safe.